So I like the idea of just sharing some things that have been happening because I believe it's happening all over for everybody if they're paying attention.
Please.
This this idea of and so this idea of reducing the conflict, getting out of the cycle of conflict, being willing to let things go or being willing to be let go of. Um, yeah, it's a big deal. That's kind of how I'm phrasing it.
Hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
Well, I don't have any conflicts in my life. Um, that's what I was going to ask you. What kind of conflicts are you having? That situations are you having that you feel is a conflict?
No, I'm talking about working with clients.
Oh,
I'm talking about working with clients where there is being able to understand that to have a lot more peace and harmony personally and
yeah.
collectively, how important it is to get out of the cycle of conflict, to get out of the cycle of conflict. And everybody enters into it in a different way. I'm observing that. And I have some tools that, for one that you share with me, like the emotional parasite release. That's
Correct.
actually a really big one to get people out of conflict. But we have to get down on the same base, right? And so when they come in to talk about things, the situation is blown up, the relationship is horrible, and they're stuck and they don't know where to go or what to do. And so just listening, but there's like a theme. There's like a theme. So like you can make things a little bit better, but then if you enter into it the same way with the same mindset, the same patterns, the same thoughts, eventually you're going to create the same cycle of conflict over and over again. So I'm wanting to help people circumvent that by listening enough to where I can go, oh, I see, da da da, and then to show them a couple things that'll help them, get out of the conflict, even if they don't like the situation, because sometimes people think that they're supposed to love what they're supposed to do. I'm not talking about passion in that, but like when you let go of something, it doesn't mean you let go of it because it's a perfect situation or that it's as good as it gets. But in some ways, it is as good as it gets. That's where you elevate. That's where you get out of the cycle of conflict and you go to resolution, which is, I think I'm just going to leave that alone. We can agree to disagree, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Sometimes I find that when people have a problem with someone else, they're reflecting what's actually in the person that's having the problem.
No, it's everything's a reflection, isn't it?
Right. They make a judgment that other person's doing something when it actually they do the same thing. And when the other person does it, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this and so forth. And I always say, what makes you think I'm doing what you think I'm doing? Because they're saying, well, you're doing this. And I'm saying, well, no, I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it for this reason. And then if they have a problem with what I'm doing, then I have them do the prayer to remove emotional parasites. Now they go into resistance because they don't
Yeah.
want to accept that that's part of them. And but when we finally get to the point where they agree to do that, they become lighter. And once they do it once and they have confidence that tool works, then they're likely to do it again in the future. And all you
True.
just
It's true.
guide them to that point to just do it. Let's do it again. We'll do it together. Why do you think this? Let's do it together because that's not my intention. So
No, I
I,
agree. Those are great tools, Tim. The emotional prayer protection and the emotional parasite release. That's what I finished up with my last client today, which is let me show you a couple of things that'll be really helpful if you decide to use them. And basically explaining a little bit, but wanting to demonstrate it more so they could utilize the technique.
now I know my wife's not going to like this, but I do this with my wife. Uh, I don't do it as often now as I have in the past, but I have
Yes.
found that she's more jolly, more funny, more upbeat. The more she does it, she probably has only done it maybe about 3 or 4 times. This feeling's not mine. This feeling doesn't belong to me. But each time she does it, she says, "Oh, I feel better." And over the months, she's more funnier. She doesn't take things seriously. I can joke around with her more, and she gets it and she jokes back. So it's a great tool for couples to use with one another to have that serious conversation about, why do you think I'm doing this? But the one couple has to be, you would probably be good, Renata, in couple therapy. Have you
Oh,
thought,
interesting.
huh?
I have thought about that. And when you shared the story with your wife, I'll just be the reflection and share in our relationship. I'm the one that uses it on me because I find I can get kind of like irritated or a little pushy or something, and I catch myself. And then I'm so grateful that George doesn't take my stuff personally at all. So I get to, it's a good thing. I get to reflect, and then I'll do like, well, that's not even yours. Doesn't even belong to you. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't even place my hands here and here because I'm in the moment.
Right,
And I find the intention is there and the intention is set in consciousness. So once you and train with it, you don't really have to do anything other than catch it and go, this is not even mine. This does not even belong to me. And if you want to shift the words a little bit, you know, I don't want this anymore. This is no longer mine. I mean, you don't have to be perfect about it because the idea is it's so cool that it works. Once you command
right,
that shift and then you
right.
choose that, ask for that, that's the deal. That I mean, that is the whole thing.
Renata, I do the same thing when I'm walking in the outdoor market, and these older people are slowing me down or getting in my way, and I catch myself and say, okay, and I don't put my hands there, but I just go, this feeling's not mine. I say the prayer, and it's
Yeah,
like you said, the intention is there that get rid of this feeling, and it's gone. Now,
right.
why I say you would be good for couple therapy, because a couple is not going to be as grounded as the other and have the
True,
insights that you do, where you can
true.
explain it to them how it works and get them to do it. I think you would, this is coming from my teachers, you know that you would be
I
good for
thought
that.
about that just today. Just today, actually, that occurred to me
Well, here's
because I'm like,
confirmation for you.
I guess so because I hadn't said anything to George about it, but I'm like, honey, maybe you might want to do that with me, but maybe not. But clearly, that could be a cool thing for me.
Well, all
Absolutely.
you have to do is with another couple, not with George, but with
No,
a
I know. I got
couple,
you.
yeah, couple therapy. Yes, I think my teachers are confirming to you that would be good for you. You would be great for that.
And not a lot of people are actually doing that out of the traditional psychotherapy area, not in the spiritual area that I'm aware of, and the store that I'm working in right now. So
They
cool.
they
It's a nice
do
confirmation.
they do not know how to use the tool. They'll go to a psychiatrist and they'll spend many sessions going through it, and it's not helping them at all. All they have to do is show them the tool, and you can assist them. And it's not just one time, because there's many issues in a relationship that causes a conflict. And this is how a couple grows together, when they're open to saying, you know what, admitting that, you know what, I own this. This is my problem, and I need to get rid of it. I need to get rid of this feeling and so forth, and stop blaming the other person. So you
That's what I meant by getting out of the cycle of conflict. So often couples come together and they have a little tit for tat and they go their separate ways and they come back, kiss and make up, and they're good for a bit until another thing triggers one of them and they're and then they're pissed and they come back and they do that for year end and year end. And to know that this tool, like on my end, going, okay, you're good. I heard all of that. Do you want to keep that?
Yeah,
That is just a simple question. You want to keep that? Yes, you do. Then I'm not going to show this to you. Do you, do you want to get rid of it? Let me show you something really simple that I've learned to use. And my friend Tim Doyle and the Golden One showed me how to do it. And here's the thing. You command, you ask, you choose, you discipline your mind to think the thoughts that you want to have. And if those aren't thoughts you want to have, you can let those go. And what's so cool about it is I've been saying a lot to people lately, Tim, well, what comes to you, let it move through you, and you transmute it and put it back out to consciousness with love. So how would I want to reimagine that scenario? That's what we do. And so that's the power that we all have with that ripple effect. And if couples can get on board with that, then they can ripple out into their circle of sphere of influence with their couples and coupledom, you know? So it's an excellent tool, right? If you get some anchor people that
exactly.
are willing to be, be the Pied Piper, like, I really do want you to follow me now. I'm the Pied Piper, do follow me. I was always resistant to people following what I said, like, I said something, but do your own thing and figure it out. Don't be, don't hold me accountable if it doesn't work for you. Right. But now
Exactly.
I'm over that because it works for me and it'll work for you. And if you want to have your life be graceful, then you need to plant the seeds and nurture that grace in your life. If you want it to continue to be struggle, then that's a choice as well. And there's nothing I can do about that, or do I wish to do about that in particular. Do you know?
I know.
I know you know.
I
I love
find
that.
I find I find that when it doesn't work for someone is they're not embracing it. They think that, oh, this is too simple. I've had this feeling for so long. You just can't get rid of it like that. And they don't embrace it. They go through the motions, but their energy is not in it to really want to heal themselves. So,
You have to commit. You
yeah.
have to commit.
And
Right?
again,
It's not like you have
go ahead.
No, I was to say it's not like you have to run, the mile either or the 4 mile in a minute. It's just you have to commit your level of commitment, you know,
Plus, you have,
your level.
yeah. Plus, you have the emotional parasite. The parasite telling you, interfering with your conscious mind that it's not going to work. This healing's not going to work on you. You don't need it. You don't. It doesn't affect you that much, and so the parasite tries to convince you not to remove this unhealthy feeling and fear of whatever it is from your subconscious mind. It's crazy.
And so you know what? And it comes in that way, and I'm like, well, good. Then you won't have any problem being released, will you? These feelings aren't mine. I release you with love now and forever. Thank you. I mean, I've had that come into my head, like, well, good. You won't have any problem being released now because it's not mine. I'm letting you go. Bye.
Exactly. Exactly.
It, it's kind of comical, that there's such simplicity to ending the struggle, thought by thought.
Well, it's amazing what my teachers have been teaching me lately about
Snap and goodies. Sure.
emotions. Now, I know you're in the membership program, so
I am. Yeah.
have you listened to the first two teachings?
I haven't listened to anything because I've been busy, but it's there.
Ah, there's new things in the teachings that have never been taught before on this planet in the spiritual realm.
Okay.
About the originality of where a soul comes from and what it goes through before coming to the earth and why they have to come to earth. So it's new teachings, and they're always teaching me something new. When I get to that point of conscious understanding and awareness of the cycle that we're in, then I'm ready for the new teachings. So,
Well, this is perfect timing because today in my little meditation, like you've transmuted a lot of stuff, Renata. You're good. And you don't have to keep looping and, going backwards. You can just stay and keep intending to see the things that you envision that you would like to play around in, and then just open the door. So today was like I had, client walk in, client walk in, client walk in. I can only see so many people in a day, right? But it was like It was just my wisdom that I share with me and anybody that, wants to partake, right?
Right.
One of your tools are one of them. And it wasn't anything convoluted. It was just like a nice intuitive conversation with people. And I'm like, yes, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready for that. And I signed up for the membership program because I have referred a few people to you and I will continue to do that. Um, and I wanted to know some of the good stuff. So like, well, I'll sign up for it and then I can share stuff with people.
Exactly. Of course you can.
Yeah, I have permission to share, to share what that is. So yeah.
The why we did the membership program is because some of the teachings have been brought down by the social networks. They say, no, you can't
Yeah.
do this, you can't do that. So it's like it's kind of frustrating to try and get something out, especially the tool about the alkalinity of the body, healing cancer, and so forth. People don't
Oh yeah, that's a no-no, isn't it?
people don't understand that you have to keep the alkalinity in your body up, or else diseases will come in and so forth. So when I try to put that out, it gets shut down by Facebook and YouTube that, you have no proof to this, you're not a doctor, it goes against the scientific community and so forth. So things like that I can't share on YouTube and the social networks, but I can do it in the website through a training program.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. We get around that to get the information out. Now, I know that not everybody is going to be a member to the program. Only those that are committed in their spiritual development, that really embrace who they are, and they really um, their hearts coming out. But see, in the world right now, we're in the golden age. It started in 21 December 2012, where Earth moved
Yes.
into a fifth dimension reality. And so you can, from 2012 to where we are now, you can see that corruption around the world is now being exposed. And people are aware of the pedophilers and what the corrupt people are doing. And people are protesting. People are awakening up that they don't want to be controlled by their governments and corrupt officials, and they're speaking back. So more and more this is going to happen, and life eventually is going to be extremely good on this planet, eventually. Um,
I believe that.
well, I know so because
I believe that.
my teachers tell me this. So good things are going to come, and we just have to be positive and accepting of others. And I tell people, if they know that this is a spiritual training school, and we're here to learn to become a co-creator of God, because we've all been created in the image and likeness of God. So if we're created in the image and likeness of God, doesn't that make us a God? So,
It does. And hearing that to some people, I'm aware if they're, highly Christian or for some other belief system, that can be like, ooh,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when people are open to hearing that, I just like, well, that does mean that then you are, you're the action figures down here on planet Earth. You're the one that's doing that. You're the god and goddess, are you not?
Well, let me
Yeah.
quickly explain. When we're created in the image and likeness of God, all God's characteristics are embedded in the soul's light body, but they're in their raw emotional form. And in Earth here, we have to we have to transform these raw emotions. We have to discipline and master these raw emotions and transform them into God feelings. And when we do this, if we don't, the raw emotions has control of the body. Um, the person thinks it's them. It's not them. It's the desire to have these raw emotions, desires, and to be fulfilled at the expense of others. And so the soul learns through the universal law of cause and effect, that what you do to others will be done unto you. And so gradually they modify their behaviors, that what you do to someone else comes back to you. So if a soul can embrace that they're a god or a goddess in training, they empower themselves to be more aware of their actions, knowing that they're here to serve a specific purpose. So that's the message of the membership program and the website, thepathtowellness.com. So,
No, I love it. I actually still have a couple of the podcasts that we did together earlier last year on my YouTube channel, and I've done a couple of YouTubes expressing or showing the emotional parasite release, the prayer protection. It's so simple. I'm like, I can send you a copy.
sure.
You can go to Tim's, website, but then I can just send you a copy because I have it written down. It is so important just to take action. And what you said about people learning from their past behaviors and deciding to not loop again. I call it looping. Like I've been here before, this looks familiar. I think I'm just going to do the same thing over again. Okay, how's that working for you?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, it's
Exactly.
like the experience is just there for you to kind of step outside of it, look at it, and go, huh, okay, I think I have a complete learning with that particular situation. I'm just going to choose this. I'm going to get off the cycle of conflict with that. And I'm going to choose the higher road. What's the higher road? Sometimes it's being silent. Sometimes it's saying no, setting a new boundary. Um, Oftentimes it's not like a drastic where you have to move to a new town. It's usually just a recollecting of the energy and like, yeah, that feels better. That actually feels better to respond in this way than the way I used to. I'm always reflecting in that way, Tim.
Let's see. Too bad
I
more.
mean, you can't not do that. You can't not do that,
More people need to do that. They. It's too easy to blame someone else. Too easy to blame
isn't
someone
it?
else. Yeah, and not take
And that
responsibility.
I say responsibility is like a magic wand, your ability to respond versus react. It's like you shine a different light on it when you can actively see yourself, consciously see yourself step outside of it, observe both sides of it, and then choose from the highest. It's an automatic, oh, that feels good. I mean, that's the way it is for me. So I can connect with, oh, that feels okay. We're good. But sometimes, Tim, you know what? I tell people it's okay to be a little bit, what would you call it? Petty. Because some of us in this new age movement think that we're supposed to be perfectionists, and it's not okay to be like not like something or not appreciate something. Like that's just BS. That's not even real. Claim what's coming up. Don't stay there. But don't use righteous indignation as a reason to stay stuck and then you're resentful all the time and it shows up that way. That's another trap. That's not even real. That's what I tell people. That's not even real.
I have a confession to make.
Good.
I get wrapped up when I see corruption, these people who are corrupt get their karma. I get excited by that, and I shouldn't.
Why not?
I say, oh, good, they got him. Instead of saying, oh, that poor soul, I, I get, I get wrapped up. I get wrapped up in the excitement that oh, they got caught. Good for them. Punish. Now I won't say punish them, but I'm saying put them in jail or have them pay the dues or expose them for who they are. And because this is all a training school and nothing is really, really real. It's all like we're all in this play, we're acting it out. And it's like our emotions, we have to discipline and master these emotions. But sometimes it's like the emotions, I say they're like parasites. They have control over the body where we have to drink or we have to eat or we have to do this or we have to do that. Instead of the soul taking responsibility saying, I'm in charge and we're not going to do that anymore. Eventually we learn. But I do feel good when corruption is exposed.
And to deal with the inequities on our planet
Oh,
and to feel overwhelmed that you can't do anything. On the other side of that is you can do everything about that by first dealing with the inequities in your life, the inequities that you put upon yourself by expectations and judgments, and then you deal with the inequities that you shovel out at other people via your judgments and your you're not right stuff and your victimization. So there's so much we can do internally to shift the trajectory of the collective consciousness out there, that it's a powerful tool. But we can't expect to always be patted on the back, good job.
no, no.
But I hear my guys all the time like, okay, you know what's up, you're good. You know what I mean? I get confirmation all the time, like, you're okay, you're paying attention.
Well, what they're teaching me right now is I'm responsible for everything I do. So if I drop a piece of paper, I have to pick it up. No matter how small it is, it says, you dropped that, you're responsible for it, pick it up and put it in the trash. If I see something that's not right, a dirty dish, I have to wash it. If I created the dirty dish, well, usually I do the dishes in the house here. My wife cooks, and I'll clean up the kitchen. I like a clean kitchen. But if the counter isn't clean, or if I miss doing something, I have to do it. I can't put it off. They're teaching me, do it now. You're responsible for every action you do in the spiritual training school. Be conscious of what you're doing it and do it right. So that's where I am now, Renata.
There's nothing wrong about that one.
No.
My big thing is don't complain. That's the one I'm learning to elevate.
Mm.
Notice, you can notice things, and if you notice them, like that's kind of a perfect example. It's not like washing dishes. George does the dishes most of the time when I cook. But that idea of, if you notice something that's out of balance in your life, then it would be your responsibility to put that back into balance, Renata. Don't talk about it. Don't point it out to somebody else. If it's something that you feel is really out of balance, then it's your job to look at that and then put that back into harmony by your thoughts, words, actions, and deeds.
You
No
know,
different than what you're saying with that.
uh, we have over our sink, we have a window that looks out. We're on the 18th floor, and we look out over the city here, and there's a high school across the street from us. And so after I clean the kitchen and it's looking pretty good, I'll call my wife and say, listen, I want to show you something real quickly. You got to come over here. And she's saying, what? And she's looking at, I says, no, look how clean the kitchen is.
You want your star. Give me my gold star. Look how clean I got it. Yeah, George and I had this joke. It's like, Mita, because he can multitask and I'm
Yeah.
talking, and sometimes I need him to like look at me and acknowledge that I did that. And then we just do jokingly like, oh, is it Mita? You need me to look at it? And so then I'll just stop, or he'll stop and like, oh yeah,
There's a black actor. I don't know. I forget who it is. It's not Morgan Freeman, but he plays a gangster, and he's yelling at someone, and he says, "Look at me when I'm talking to you." And so,
Denzel Washington. Is
oh,
it Denzel Washington?
so my wife and I will do the same thing. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Just playing around, just being comical.
Just playing around.
Yeah,
Just playing
just
around.
playing around.
And I've got, like your wife has gotten a lot lighter, I have gotten a lot lighter. My husband's kind of a jokester, so he's always kind of like can get me, say something funny about something, and then I'm like, "Well, aren't you ever serious?" And then it occurred. Then I heard, "Well, Renata, maybe you're too serious." You thought about that? I'm like, "Oh, snap!" Yeah, I had to own that one because I am. I always want to go into a dialogue or a discussion about what that means and the spiritual ramifications and how we're
Oh my
we're
God.
rippling out, and we're rippling out, and it's like, oh, I'm so heavy. I mean, even that's kind of funny that I can laugh at myself. I'll go, I'm doing that again. Yeah, you are. You're okay though. We saw One Love last night, the Bob Marley movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I like Bob Marley too.
I know you did. He's in some of the songs that
Yes.
the Ascension program.
Yeah. Three
Are
Little
you still
Birds.
running that
Yeah.
house? Are you still running the Master Ascension program?
It's up on the website. It's free to
Okay.
anybody to download. Um, Usually, I get maybe every couple of months, someone will download the program, and I send them the information and tell them if they have any questions, they're always, free to contact me and discuss it and so forth. But yeah, it's free up on the program, up on the website, and it will be part of the membership program to go into more detail what the
Okay.
purpose of that is and so forth. So yeah,
I have thought that it would be great to have a small group at Crystal Spirit that I kind of go from the beginning to the end as you did with me and the old 28-day Master Ascension program.
you should do it.
Yeah, I was just looking for you to go, yeah, you should do that. Because it's weird. I know I don't have to ask permission, so I'm not really doing that per se, but I'm like letting you know that that has a great impact. And when I did, I mean, you came across my life rather serendipitously. In that Saturday group I'm in, your information, the emotional parasite release ended up in Danielle, who's the originator of the group, in her email box. Then she posted it for the group on our Telegram channel, and then I just go and I check stuff. I go on the links and all that stuff, and then I'm like, Danielle, well, who's this guy Tim Doyle? Do you know him? She's like, no. I and she's like, "Where well, I don't know where it came from." She said, "It just showed up in our inbox." I'm like, "Well, have you gone to do that emotional parasite release?" I said, "I've been checking it out. It's pretty cool. It's real simple. I think we should work with that with people, in our group kind of thing."
Right.
So, we didn't do like a whole thing on it, but I pointed to that and you had the website. And then when we were going to do a couple of podcasts, I was excited. So I kept pointing people to that. But it feels like because I feel the sense of value with it, that if collect some people, they will resonate with that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I'm here in Washington, and I'm a different energy package than connecting with you in China. So that's where that came from. Like, well, it's still a really great program.
Well, see,
You don't have to do anything except
bir-
for just
yeah,
make the time for people to talk to you.
birds of a feather flock together. So
Yeah,
you being a certain bird, you're gonna attract certain people that are gonna resonate to your energy and so forth, um,
yeah.
and so forth. But Renata, feel free. Anything that you download, um, in the membership program, there's over 150 MP3s that are available to
This is
you
really,
to download.
okay.
Anything you download, you can share with anybody. Okay, this is all.
For the purpose of educating. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
this
Thank you.
is all spiritual work and all based on the teachings of the golden ones. And so if you want to download anything and share it, go right ahead. No problem.
Cool. That's
Okay.
cool. Um, Speaking of doing, I've got a podcast coming up. It's going to be kind of fun with my friend Devin. It's called On the Bright Side Conversation on the Bright Side Conversations Along the Way with Devin and Goddess Renata.
Ah,
What we what we have, and you did that title. Thank you. And I just kept it like, oh, I like that Goddess Renata thing. I'm keeping it. And sometimes she just channels in,
well,
you
it's
know.
true. It's true.
Yeah, I know. It's true. My voice gets a little squeaky, a little different. I'm like, oh, that's Goddess. She's just talking. And then I'll break back in but we're pretty connected. So there was no point to that other than I appreciate the inroads that your work has given me to open up to share with people and to really give them some tools that they can utilize that make a difference. And it's not just spiritual wah wah woo woo stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of carrot dangling out there. If you do this and you turn around the right way and then step back and then step forward a couple steps, you'll be good. Well, that's not true. There's no truth to any of that. Not at all. And it can be frustrating and disappointing to people.
Mhm.
Follow you, ask for guidance and then hear it and then act upon it. and then be that and integrate that into your life. That's kind of what my thing is with people, you know? Yeah.
People, I say this, that like you said, activated listen. They don't listen. See, this is a spiritual training school, and we have spiritual teachers and angels. They cannot help us unless we ask for their advice. Once we say ask for their advice, we have to listen to hear what comes into our thoughts. We're not
Yes, yes.
trained. The souls here are not trained to listen, to discern between the ego emotional self and the spiritual self that has given them the
True.
device to guide them to do the right thing. So, yeah.
So it's true. It's very true. And I've been pointing people a lot to synchronicity. As you start to ground and really, want to receive and allow, start paying attention to the synchronicities. And to do that, you have to know what it was that you asked for, and when you ask for that, in some way, shape, or form, you have been planting the seeds and stepping into the next and planting the seeds and stepping to the next, you know, fruition of whatever those visions and things that you want to see yourself do. But sometimes I used to get so caught up in, well, it hasn't showed up yet. It hasn't showed up yet. It's like way outside of me. And there's nothing outside of you that needs to be done. There's everything inside of you that needs to be. And that's a small distinction, but it's huge once you anchor that in your life. Because I've watched things that I have thought about since a young person, and now I'm like opening the door and stepping into them. It's like magical, like boom. Oh, there that is. And so I had a new acronym for allow, or allow, allow,
Allow.
allow. So allow some space unless miracles evaporate. Allow some space unless miracles evaporate. And it is a miracle when you stop and listen and connect, and the door is open for you. The things are brought to you, and all you have to do is go, oh, wow, that's better than I can imagine. Thank you. Next. It's like that for me. And I believe it's like that for a lot of people if they choose that. Back on my spiritual path when I was like in my 20s, I was involved with like the beauty industry and that. And I remember a woman used an acronym for assume, ass, you, and
You.
then make of me,
Me.
right? And I was like, oh, that's so brilliant. I remembered it. And then that's when the allow thing came in, like, okay, well, how often do we, I get assuming things, but how do we really allow things then? What do we do? What's that about? So that's where that little acronym came in,
Amen.
Yeah. Allow some space and let's miracles evaporate.
Well, see, you have your own technique to touch people, and I have a technique how I touch people, and that's why birds of a feather. Now we touch each other, but I may not be able to touch your birds, and you may not be able to touch my birds because different feathers, or they're not
Uh,
to the level that you are. A lot of the people that contact me, they're still searching, and they really don't know what their purpose is or anything like that. I get the I don't get followers.
when I ran,
I don't get followers. I don't want anyone to follow me. I want them to embrace the
yeah, I
teachings.
feel you.
Yeah. I'm not looking for a membership
You're
program.
pretty clear about that.
Yeah.
And your web guy, he's pretty brilliant, and he put out a little notice talking about just the whole platforms of the social media and how it's just not so easy now to reach people. And so you've got to kind of gather your ground crew, so to speak, and do your own thing, creating your own bubble. That really is what's going on. I get that. Um, I'm a little more generic in my approach, so thank you for that. Those were kind words. Because I am not out in the trenches per se, but but I'm just old school. I like the seeing the whites of people's eyes. I like to touch them. There's a lot of energy exchange that happens when people are with me and when I'm with them, when we're sharing space together. And I really do enjoy that. Um, I do enjoy that, but there is a place for the online presence because it reaches so many more people. Um, yeah, and you can create uh, programs. You're not having to redo that each time you record, and then you can share it. And that multiplicity is wonderful because we are, what are we, multidimensional, multi-melanated, right? And multi-talented. And there's so much that we can utilize in terms of experiences and wisdom to make this situation and other situations more of a win-win for everybody on the planet. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like when you see injustice, well, don't repeat that for one, right?
Right.
And then, become the opposite of that. Because everything can be exalted and everything can be, what's the opposite of not exalted? Inverted, like the swastika, right? I mean, it has an exalted and it has an inverted. Everything does. So we get to choose.
Yes, we
I
do.
say the same thing. I say the same thing because it's true. Write a new life story. You don't have to stay in the one you got going on. Extrapolate the lessons and then move forward. But people get stuck on what their guides tell them. You are the guide. You're it. You're it in a bag of chips. Listen to yourself.
Yeah, or they follow something that has it's been written and they
Yeah.
take that as
Yeah.
gospel, or someone said it a long, long time ago. So this is
Yeah.
the truth, and it's like they're not open to thinking and considering what is written and what does it mean and what was the context and is it really true. So that's what I don't read anymore.
Well,
I don't read anymore. I just
you were saying that.
listen. I just listen.
I remember when you said that to me. And I'm always reading information. I just love to read and write books. So I do that. But I hear you about not everything speaks to you, nor does it need to speak through you.
Yeah.
You don't need to emulate something outside of you. You become the teachings. Don't you believe you become the teachings?
Become the teachings or a channel for the teachings. See, I never say that
Okay,
it's,
channel for the teachings.
yeah, I never say that it's my teachings. I always give
Channel
credit
for
to
the
the golden
teachings.
ones. That's why
No, no, no.
we don't charge for
I know you do.
anything. Yeah,
I know you do. I know you do.
it comes from spirit. It comes from the co-creator gods.
No, and that's why I love the idea of being able to tell people, well, go join the membership program now. Go on his website and just check things out and see if you want to join the membership program.
Yeah,
Because there's a nice solid connection, and I love that you talk about your story as an altar boy and how you loved God and you loved the church and you loved all that, and then that just changed for you.
oh
And I
my
love
God.
that you bring that into your story because there's a lot of people that are hooked on the Christianity, and there's nothing wrong with being a Christian.
Yeah,
Please, I'm not even saying that, but then they get stuck in that story. Jesus didn't want to be emulated and followed like that, and it's not my job to change. Today I had someone and that was her whole thing, that Jesus, God, all that, and there'd been a time before when I would have not have attracted someone like that because I would have said, I can't work with you. We wouldn't have had anything to talk about because I'd be trying to convince her that it's spiritual. It's not the Jesus, not, I'd be trying to convince her of the opposite. I didn't even go there with her. I'm like, just listen to her. That has nothing to do with what she needs from you today. She
good.
needs to know that she's okay
Yeah,
and that when she decides to shift and move in a new direction, she's got all the talent and skill and wisdom already ingrained in her rising up that she can utilize, and she can call on her source, God, Jesus, to facilitate for her. It didn't have to make her wrong. I made her right, and check this out, and add this to your list of wonderful things that you're capable of doing. And I'm not giving them lip service, but I hear that she was waiting for direction somewhere. They come to me and they want like a confirmation. like, you're good. You know, that's what I'm saying. You're good. And I deliver it with authority. You're good.
Yeah.
You know, these couple things will help you unstick, but you're good.
Right where you are.
Don't keep questioning. Don't keep questioning. Don't be doubting you. Why do you think you get put in the place here and then you tell a person a story about the Bible and something else and it just clicks? Why do you think when you're at work, you share one of your protocols for things being simple as a nurse and a new person under you is like, oh, God, that just saved me a lot of time. Thank you for that. What do you think that wisdom is? That's it. You are awake. Use the stuff that comes to you and through you and make this a better world as you share.
I agree. Now, it's getting time. What time is it? How long have we been?
I've got about 10 minutes to 7
Okay. Let's, I don't like to make these too long because
or
people,
10 minutes to 8, but we're good. Yeah.
yeah,
So about 40 minutes. So we're good.
people won't listen to it if it's too long.
I've got that from you. And so our show, we're doing 30-minute segments.
Ah, very good. Very
And we're
good.
good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. And I'm feeling like if we you share this with your group, I'd like to share this on my YouTube. This is great, Tim.